You're back with us at Silverstone. He was due okay. 10th time here. He's finished second twice. The 10-1 shot. Mika Häkkinen has won the British Grand Prix. Confirmation of the result for you. 10 out of 10 for Häkkinen. Then Michael Schumacher cruising round for those 6 points. Rubens Barrichello on the podium again in the second Ferrari. Montoya must feel he could have finished higher than fourth. He led at one stage. Fantastic drive once again for Kimi Räikkönen, the Finn, the rookie of the year in the Sauber in fifth place, and Heidfeld, 2 Saubers there in the top 6. So how does it all shake down? The championship, 47, 57, 67, 77, that's 30, 84. It's a lot of points, isn't it? 37 points. David Coulthard and Michael Schumacher, the gap at the top. 3 points now between Rubens Barrichello and Ralf Schumacher. Häkkinen, those 10 points push him to 5th in the championship, and Montoya stays in the top 6. And the constructors Ferrari continue to romp away with that, although McLaren scoring well with Mika Häkkinen today. Williams in 3rd place. Sauber 4th. Jordan 3 points ahead of BAR in 6th. We go straight to the press conference.
Mika, you've never won here at Silverstone before. Indeed, you haven't won in Formula One for nearly a year. How does it feel?
Very good test. We were able to get a good balance to the car. And the tires was what we were using here was suiting a lot in my driving style. So I was able to attack the corner, and I was able to have a car which did not understeer so much. And it gave me opportunity to choose the line in a corner what I wanted to. So probably that can explain a little bit my speed over here. Otherwise everything is like it always been.
Thank you.
Cheer up later on. Don't worry about that.
Paint's dry.
Only won the race, didn't he? What did you think of it, Tony?
Well, I've got to go back to David Coulthard and say that the dream is just about over. It's hanging by a thread, but he must take great heart, I think, from the McLaren performance. A definite improvement there. They've found something that maybe can make them challenge. Häkkinen, will he stay, will he go? I know Marky has views on that, and Ferrari were fantastic. What I have to say is the McLaren boys are in awe of the Ferrari performance. They talk about them doing a brilliant job. When will it stop? It's a real steamroller at the moment.
What a shame about the start, though, Mark.
Yeah, it was a shame about the start. It took the edge off of things. DC's race was run by the first turn, basically. Situation, really, when you're on the racetrack, you know, they're at the start here now, the countdown, they're off the grid, and Truly gets a very good start. DC's a little bit slow off the line. Truly gets up the inside. DC takes his line. It's a 50-50 deal, basically. They touch, off he goes. Problem then for DC, he's just got to try and struggle around after that and recover. But very tough on him psychologically. Very difficult to take that and go on with it in the race. But I think I've won the bet, Tone. I think, you know.
Well, just looking at it from the aerial thing, Mark, you look at the squeeze there, and then you see Villeneuve touching with Panis, and out he goes. But what I take from this is David Coulthard was left with no option but to go for it because of all the failures that he's had this year. He's made one mistake, and that was in the pit lane with the button in France. Otherwise, it's been stalled on the grid, it's been software, it's been engine in Canada. He had no alternative just to go for it. I'm
interested, though, Mark, in the sort of the word yield. In that David seems to suggest, well, I'm going for the World Championship. Jarno Trulli should have yield, and Trulli says, I don't yield in that situation.
Hey, you know, there's 7 races or so left, or you know, maybe one less at that point. But it's every man for himself out there. Jarno Trulli's had the best performance so far in the season. He wants to make a good race of it. I know DC's going for the championship, but he could have just yielded a little bit, maybe. Just a little bit, just to get through the first turn.
And no surprise when his race ended prematurely, David Coulthard, after the shunt he took, the man he had to slew across to the pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, you see here, the car's already let go. Basically, that's a real tough situation. He's had a knock from another car, and it's very unnerving as a race driver to actually carry that car at speed. You know, you're going into a corner with commitment, you don't know what's going to happen, and rear suspension just let go on him.
What did you make of Michael Schumacher this afternoon? Of course, the fellow who everyone feels sure will win the World Championship once again. I mean, he just seemed to cruise round gently this afternoon.
As we kind of thought, didn't we? I mean, just calm and collected, and Ferrari at their best. Jean Todt kind of let the cat out the bag on the grid there with Martin Brundle's grid walk. We knew it was coming.
Didn't need to win, didn't need to stretch, did he? And both Häkkinen and Montoya as we said, went past the world champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think Murray had talked about this with Martin in the commentary as well. It was something we were trying to find out. Were they using this development engine, the 050? We think they were, which helped them in qualifying, helped them in the race. It must be incredibly fuel efficient because, you know, till lap 43, Barrichello stayed out before he came in for his pit stop. And I believe it was a tactical race totally by Ferrari. We're just going to cruise, we're going to collect and also protect this new engine because I don't think it had done the race distance before.
We might be able to find out a bit more about Ferrari's tactics. Ross Brawn is down there, the main man at Ferrari, with James.
Ross, a strange day really for you and for Ferrari. It didn't really look as though you were trying to win that race.
Well, we had a pretty conservative strategy today, and we expected Mika to be on a very aggressive strategy. That was fairly predictable, and there was no point in trying to hold back Mika. I mean, a one-stop obviously has to maintain his position at the beginning, but to try and hold it off against Mika and risk an accident just wasn't right. So with David going out so soon, then once Mika got ahead, then it was a question of just scoring a point. So it was a pretty quiet day after that.
Conservative's not a word I normally associate with you in race strategy. What's happening? You're getting old or something?
Not really, no, but I guess just the situation we're in, and we weren't completely happy with the car race setup-wise. We thought McLaren would be very strong in the race, so I think what came out today was pretty much as we expected.
Championship looking pretty comfortable though, isn't it?
Well, it's another step in the right direction. That's what was important today. I mean, we do try and win every race we go into, but sometimes you have to be sensible.
Thanks, Ross.
Pragmatic sort of approach today from Ferrari, but Ron Dennis a few minutes ago said that Ferrari got their tactics wrong. 2 in the top 3 doesn't seem too bad to me.
I don't think they got them wrong at all. I think those guys from Ferrari with the red shirts, they're very calm, very collected. You know, as we just said, and the way they're talking, they knew what they were doing. It was done. The result was there.
The crowd here, Mark, many of them come to see a British victory or hoping for a British victory. At least they saw a good old battle between Nick Heidfeld and Heinz-Harald Frentzen.
Yeah, I mean, Frentzen there didn't get a very good start, so he's got Heidfeld breathing down his neck, and they really did have a ding and dong, didn't they? And these two guys are from the same town. You see, Frentzen's gone underneath him, blown the corner, Heidfeld's gone straight underneath him again. You know, after you, sir, no, sir, you go. But they're from the same city, definitely a bit of needle with these two. But very impressive show by Sauber, Raikkonen and Heidfeld.
Let's talk about Williams. They played down their chances here. Montoya led the race for quite a while. Tony, it looks like he could be heading for his first win at one stage.
Yeah, but it's a shocking reliability record, isn't it? Montoya's got those 2 second places. You know, when he finishes, he's there, and he's been wonderful. Like in Brazil and Austria, we marvelled at his performances, and we've still to see those yet again. But we've had hydraulics failures, gearbox failures, and when Patrick Head says to you, know, this is a very disappointing weekend, that means when he gets back to the factory, he's going to read the riot act.
Yeah.
And Mark knows, because when he was testing there at Williams, he's a hard taskmaster. But eventually, they will get that job done. And Michael says, we fear this car when it has reliability.
Let's find out what Juan Pablo Montoya made of his first British Grand Prix. Here is the Colombian chatting to Louise.
Juan Pablo, well, you led the race at one point, finished 4th. Are you happy with that?
It's okay, you know, I think we made a mistake in my second stop. We should have came, you know, we had fuel to come in a lot later, and they thought we could go by Romans that way. I don't know why. But
You went for the 2-stop strategy. Do you think that was the right way to go?
yeah, it was, you know, it paid off. You know, started 8th, finished 4th. It's not that bad, but could have been better.
Thanks.
Teammate Ralf Schumacher went for a one-stop strategy, but that whole reliability let him down again.
Yeah, also the other problem, again, but Murray talked about this, that the Michelin tyres weren't working that well, and it just shows you if you've got to start back from 8th and 10th place on the grid, which they had to do, might be a fantastic engine, might be a fantastic chassis, but if the last key component, the tyres, aren't working properly, you can't really get up there. And Montoya had elected to go on the harder compound as well, so I think he was hoping originally to go on a one-stopper as well, but he had to go on the 2. But again, Ralph, I think he drove very well, but Berger and the team, you know, Berger, head of BMW Motorsport, they really believe in him, but he was a bit lacklustre, really.
Stop you there for a moment, Tony. We're going to go down and talk to David Coulthard, the man who's won here for the last couple of years. Hi, David. Your race ended, a little while ago, nearly 2 hours ago, didn't it? Have you had time to put things into perspective, to have a bit of a think about things?
Yeah, obviously I'm very disappointed in my own race, but you have to look to the positive here, and the fact is McLaren were very competitive. It's good to have Mika up there on the podium, and this could have been a McLaren 1-2, and naturally, I think the result would have probably gone the other way for the sake of the championship. So that in itself gives us confidence, because I think in reality we were actually much more competitive here relative to Ferrari than the sort of display they put on in Nürburgring, where we looked pretty average.
Yeah, it's an easy race from the commentary box. It's an easy race from up here, but again, with the benefit of hindsight, do you think you perhaps could have lifted off at that first corner?
Well, if you always lift off, unfortunately, you're always going to come out second best. I think that looking at the damage to my car, then Jarno's front wheel was touching only halfway along my bodywork. I think that we as racing drivers know the type of corner you have there, and it opens out on the exit. So with having track position, I was in front of him, then there's absolutely no reason to expect that I should lift in that situation. The only way we'd come in contact would be if I deliberately turned in on him, which I obviously didn't consciously do, and or he drifted into the side of me. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, why it happened. The fact is, we should both know that you can't win the race at the first corner. Obviously, slightly different agendas from Jarno and myself.
Yeah, if he had been going for the World Championship and you had been in the same position, would you have yielded?
I don't think that it's got anything to do with the championship. I think it's just got common sense. Two cars don't go round a corner without a bit of give and take. And I made it quite clear that when we entered the corner that I wasn't going to lift, and he should know that, and there should be time to react. And there's enough of the curb on the inside, which is flat, that he could have turned if he felt that I was squeezing him. So I think that irrespective of what it looks like from the outside, if you're a racing driver and you sit in the cars, you know the corner, you know the circumstance, and you know that it is possible to get two cars through there, but it will involve both giving a bit of room. And unfortunately, we weren't both able to see eye to eye in this situation. But just remind you again, I did have track position. I was half a car length in front.
How big a disappointment is it for you, David, particularly in front of your home crowd, and particularly going for that third successive victory, that you couldn't deliver today?
Yeah, it's very disappointing. The car was damaged from that first corner. I was on the radio explaining. We'd try to hang in there just to establish how bad the balance of the car was. And obviously I would have preferred to have parked than to have spun off in the entry to Priory, but just there was so much damage to that right side of the car. It was really just a question of whether we decided to pit or not, and got caught out under braking. So it is disappointing, but nonetheless, I think from a team point of view, to win here, to show that although Ferrari still have the legs on us in qualifying at the moment, we can put in strong race performances. Their strategy was completely wrong today, there's no question about it, so I'm afraid James is going to have to not be so complimentary to Ross Brawn this weekend, because there's just absolutely no logic in going so late on this situation unless they believed they could hold us up. And I would have thought the evidence of our performance through Friday, Saturday with fuel on was that we had a quick race car.
Were your tactics set up for you personally to win here today?
Yeah, the situation would have been that the team would have maximised my potential to get in there win the championship. So if we'd been running 1-2, then that would have been reversed. That would have obviously been a difficult pill for Mika to swallow, because he as we stood and watched the race, then he overtook Michael and was looking pretty strong. But obviously we don't have the benefit of knowing just how strong I would have been in the race, and I think logically I would have been running right with him. But I've had to swallow those pills in the past, and I have absolute confidence he would have done so here this weekend.
Just a couple of final things for you, David. You were very quickly over there to congratulate Mika Hakkinen, who has had a long, lean spell. It's a good win for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. That irrespective of everything that's going on in my own battle for the championship and the whole speculation thing, I think for Mika and his car crew, it's been a long time. They've had, they deserved the victory in Barcelona. I don't think anyone could doubt that. And I think he just sincerely, I just wanted to be one of the first guys there to say that welcome back. But hopefully he'll be finishing second to me in Hockenheim. Although, as we all know, there could well be another team coming forward to pick up the victory at that circuit.
Sure, and it's never over until it's over. But if I say to you now, I bet you Michael Schumacher is going to be world champion again this year, what would you say?
Well, you've got to say it's a pretty steep wall we have to climb. It's still mathematically possible, and no matter what people say at the moment, no one truly knows what's going to happen until the points don't add up. But logically, you'd say they have the strength and the position, and largely during the season, if you look at the first 11 races, they've had the performance. So unless we're able to develop ourselves out of our qualifying situation, then they have the best position.
Sure. David, thanks very much for your cooperation before and after the race. Perhaps a word for you about all your fans who are trying to head for the sort of the byways out of Silverstone at the moment. They gave you good support here again, didn't they?
Yeah, no, I had fantastic support here, and I really appreciate that. I know it was out there for all the British drivers. It's a shame that I wasn't able to deliver today, but nonetheless, I think that a victory for a British team should be some consolation. Although I do notice there's a lot of support out there for Ferrari, so
that makes a change, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that's surprising, but no, it's there's nothing quite like a British crowd, very civilised, and you know, I thank all them on behalf of all the drivers.
Thanks very much indeed, David.
Thank you.
Right, well, let's talk about Mika Häkkinen. We should, I think, probably pay tribute to Mika Häkkinen a little bit, because people have been putting a line through his career. He's not the most charismatic of drivers, is he? But it'll mean a lot for him to win in Britain at last, won't it?
Sure, it's the first time he's won the British Grand Prix as well, but I don't know really why people should put a line through the guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. There's no way that I can see that he wants to go and retire. You get this little thing build up and all of a sudden the guy's out of a job, but you see by his performance today and over the course of the weekend, he's a great driver and will continue to be.
You mentioned before the start of the race that you were driving here, one of your wheels came off, and Mr. Alonso had a similar experience in the Minardi, didn't he?
I think everybody goes through a situation like this as a race car driver. At some point, you're like Alonso here, he's trawling around. He obviously knows he's got a problem, he's going very slow, and pop, off the left front wheel goes and off into the distance. And it's a little bit disconcerting. Obviously, trying to then carry the car around on three wheels is a bit tricky. But that kind of thing at Grand Prix level shouldn't happen. Even at this situation here with Mika Häkkinen, that's the rear wheel. Front end pops up, rear wheel goes off, and the rear drops down. Very tricky, very dangerous, but mistakes do happen.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, and I think, Tony, I'm right in saying that Mika Häkkinen would probably have won, if that hadn't happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he would have done it. I mean, I'd take slight issue with Mark. I know what he's saying, but the reason there's a speculation about Häkkinen is because from last year where he really tried very hard, look at Belgium and so on. This year, yes, we know he's had a terrible time, but you take Canada where he's in the middle of the pack, he did nothing. And then suddenly when they all scattered in for the pit stops, he scatters off, sets fastest laps and gets up on the podium. He was lapped 6th place in Germany, and he mistakenly thought that the front wings were bent when they weren't. There is a whole catalogue of these very, very poor performances, leading people, like myself, to suggest that perhaps he's up for his P45, I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
It's not a revolver, but perhaps he should take one occasionally.
Mika Häkkinen's been having a bit of a tough season, so has Jenson Button. 15th place for Jenson in the Benetton and his home Grand Prix.
Jenson, how was it for you?
Not good at all, actually. The car was quite oversteered for pretty much all the race, and that was the problems that I was having. Also, the power steering packed up after about the 10th lap, I think. I hit a curve a bit hard and it just shut down, so it's pretty hard work driving on a power steering around here, but there you go.
So a tough and not very enjoyable afternoon?
No, not really. But there you go.
Well, better luck at the next one.
Thank you.
And we'll see Jenson having a little bit more fun away from the circuit when you rejoin us. Murray Walker is going to pop into the studio as well. And here's his sparring partner.
Dad, Rennie Arnoux comes into the pits. Let's stop the start watch.
Don't make mistakes. I make prophecies which immediately turn out to be wrong.
Not too many of them this afternoon.
I'll
though,
have
Murray.
that Martin Brundle.
He's the back of a very long queue, a very illustrious queue as well, I think. Some experience for you the whole weekend here, Murray, isn't it? I mean, there was a great roar when you came to the commentary box. I don't know how you're going to get out of this place. I think there's still 85,000 people waiting for your autograph.
Jim, it's been the most humbling and rewarding and exciting weekend I can ever remember, I think. I mean, I got a gold medal from the British Racing Drivers Club. I'm a very, very proud member of the British Racing Drivers Club. And the only 4 people who've had them before were Bernie Ecclestone, Ken Tyrrell, Sterling Moss, and
one other.
Probably
you.
So, and the difficulty has been getting the job done. Because as you well know, we scurry around getting information, talking to people, and that is something I haven't been able to do this weekend. which accounts for any mistakes I may have made.
No, I don't think you made too many of them, did you? Did you enjoy the race? And what are your feelings in hindsight about the race?
To be quite honest, it's not there's no such thing as a dull Grand Prix, and this one wasn't dull, because there was actually a hell of a lot going on. If you think about the implications of it, McLaren have done a fantastic job. Ferrari, I think, people can witter on about the fact that they were on a wrong strategy. Fact remains that they finished second and third. I feel desperately sorry for Montoya. Williams have got a bit of work to do, but there's a lot of things happened here today that are going to affect the rest of the season.
Right, you didn't go to the ball, did you? Or you didn't go to the
only thing I didn't go to.
And I don't think you paid too many personal visits to the campsites, did you?
Well, not this year.
Not this year,
or any other
perhaps
year
next year, because there are all sorts of ways of getting a taste of the action at the British Grand Prix. Lots of variation around. Our reporter's Beverly Turner.
What is the ultimate Silverstone experience? Is it helicopters and hospitality, or tents and tinnies? Well, every year thousands of fans end up right here in the often muddy fields near the circuit. So are they dedicated or just a bit mad?
Wonderful. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Spot on. We are the 5-star campers. It's nothing else like it.
Look inside the luxury end of the campervan experience. Marty, tell me about this place. Where do you sleep? Where do you eat?
I've got to say, Beverly, this is tops. The last 6 years been under canvas. Last year I said enough after the April experience. Going to trade up to myself a little VW camper van. We've got ourselves a nice little kettle, little grill for a little bit of bacon in the morning maybe. Absolutely perfect. And then we pack the bags to go up to see a bit of the racing and take a few of your finest out the fridge. Absolutely perfect.
The worst thing about it, I think, is beer tents right over there. That's about it, really. No, that's it.
You try and sort of bung yourself up the weekend. You don't really want to hang. You don't want to have a Silverstone poo, basically.
So that may not be for everyone. Time to find out how the other half live, and you have to arrive in style. Oh my God, that was amazing. For the guests here tonight at the official Grand Prix ball, there's only one way to arrive, by helicopter. Even better if you've got 2 Formula 1 drivers as your dates. Come on, chaps. How important is this a part of the weekend of Silverstone experience?
It's important for the people that are here because they're going to have a good night, but I can't. I got to disappear off and lie low. I'd love to be here, and this is one of the reasons I'm looking forward to retiring at some stage, so that I can come to this party and have a nice party. It's one of the best events of the year.
We're just really surprised the drivers are all really short. You shouldn't wear your heels at an event like this.
They are, they're tiny.
I know. I would have kind of come on my knees.
As it were.
Patience.
Heinz, I'm loving your trousers. Who's sponsoring you tonight?
Well, this. You like that?
Yeah, I think you're winning on the fashion stakes. They're all dressed in sponsors head to toe. You're looking good. What did you think of your football performance?
Well, it was enough to get some money raised. And I'm not so good in football, obviously, but enough to make 2 goals.
With the help of famous names from football and Formula 1, the ball raised over £56,000 for charity. But even with tickets at more than £300 each, you can't control the weather. So it's time to move inside. Tracy and Robert, newlyweds, nice to see you here. What do you think of this tonight?
Well, it looks amazing. I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's quite similar to where we got married, wasn't it?
Oh, look at you two.
And lots of free champagne as well, which you can't complain about,
Chris, what do you think of this evening? Is this how we should do sport in this country?
Oh, it's fantastic. I've actually been to Silverstone for the last few years, but I haven't been to the Stowe Ball before, and it is quite amazing. And it's the first time, for example, we just had our first course, and Rolls Royce came up and a girl started singing, and everybody rushed to the dance floor.
Silverstone has always got a little bit of razzmatazz. This ball has turned out to be a real success over the last number of years, and I know you've just been speaking to Krista Berg, and you can't beat the Irish influence here because half the ferries are full with Irish and Jordan fans, so that's nice too.
So whether it's a one-man tent or a huge marquee, everybody enjoys the Silverstone experience. I've had a great time here tonight, but unfortunately the drivers have left without me. What's a girl to do? Home, James.
Could always row her home, couldn't he, I suppose, couldn't they, James Cracknell? Now then, Jenson Button. What about his Silverstone experience, to quote Beverly there?
I was just fantasising about being in the back of a camper with Beverly Turner.
Steady, Murray.
Hold on a minute, the old ticker's going up there a bit, isn't it?
He's got a T-shirt.
I thought you had that vacant look in your eye again.
I've been saying to Jenson...
Do that with your hands as well.
I've been saying to Jenson Button all season, Jim, look, you're going through a bad time now. You're 21 years old. You made your point last year with Williams. Jenson Button is a jolly good driver. He is a potential world champion. All he needs is the right infrastructure. He's got the right infrastructure with Benetton, but he hasn't got the right car, and it doesn't look as though he's going to have it this season. But hopefully he'll get the bad experiences behind him. Renault own Benetton. They've got to make it work. He's got next season. And the season after that, they'll all be after him, and rightly so.
Yep, Murray, OK, it's another tough experience for Jenson Button, 15th today in the Benetton. But away from the circuit, well, Jenson has just got to keep on keeping those sponsors happy.
I do like using a helicopter. You do need it because the time that you have is so small. It's a great way of travelling, I love it. It's fantastic. I love being in the air. I used to hate it, absolutely hate it. PlayStation told me that they wanted some input, so I thought I'd go out there and give as much input as I could. I'll tell you what the best bit about this game is the helmet movements, which is a big thing. Yeah. It's great, it's fantastic. Yeah. Sometimes when I play a game, obviously because I drive the real thing, it's not much fun because it's so jerky on the steering, but it seems really, really smooth. It's good. Yeah.
You just put in a lap time of 1 minute 19 now on the Nürburgring. How does that compare to the lap times that you would normally do on the Nürburgring in the Benetton car?
In the Benetton, in qualifying, let's not talk about qualifying, it was a bit of a disaster this race just gone, but my best lap was an 18.6, I think. Oh, 18.0. You've got to try and beat that now.
That's beatable.
Yeah?
That's beatable. I'm sure Steve could put in a 1:16 here.
I think the best bit about it was me thrashing the people that actually made the game. I enjoyed that quite a lot. I like this game. I love things that I can win at. It's really cool. So you're the genius that's supposed to be really good at this.
Oh, I never said that.
Flying, you can relax so much. It's the only time really you can relax. Away from everything, everyone is on a flight. That's why I love the Grand Prix outside Europe, because, for example, there could be a 10-hour flight, and I sleep all the way. They make me suits and they give me clothes to wear all the time, which isn't bad, is it? Come on. So the actual tux I was getting fitted is for this weekend, the board this evening, plus obviously other events. I really, really enjoy dressing up and things like that.
That's fine,
Yeah,
just
I like
shape
that.
it on the waist.
I like the way it's shaped. Excellent. Working out in the gym, it can really, really help you mentally as well as physically. My physio comes to every race with me. We have one for the race and one for testing. I do a lot of work on my back at the moment because at the start of the season it wasn't the best thing in the world, so we've had to do a lot of work on that. We did a test last year at Hungary. I mean, it was very warm, but I lost 2.5 kilos of fluid during the race. It shows how much you lose, and you know that's a big percentage of your body weight, which isn't good. Goodwood's great, but it is such a long day for us. It's very, very important for all the manufacturers, I think. It's good to be here and, you know, to be able to help out and get the crowds pumping and enjoying it. It was great when I went up in the old Renault. The 1902 Renault was great. And it does about, I think it will do 70 miles an hour, I think. Now I've got nothing to do after this for another hour or so, and then I've got the prize giving. So it should be good, and hopefully I won't get away too late. I've got to fly to Monaco tomorrow morning. Time to go home now and recharge my batteries, go to Monaco for a couple of days, and then the big race, British Grand Prix. I love Formula 1, I love everything with it, but the main thing is I want to win.
Don't know about winning, I think he would settle for a World Championship point right now. Before the race, you'd have heard us talking to Ross Kemp, working this afternoon in the Jordan pit. See how he got on.
Ross, not the best of days for the Jordan team, but how was it for you?
Oh, from my point of view, it went very, very well. But
I mean, obviously there's a massive disappointment inside the camp, you know, where we were seeing before the race, we really were hoping that we'd get a podium position, get some points. So we're all kind of like rather disappointed, really. And for me, I mean, this is the last opportunity I'll ever have to do something like this, so it would have been really nice to have had a win or something, or a podium at least. But that's motor racing, as they say.
You're really feeling it, aren't you? You must have become a real part of the team.
Oh, very much so, you know. They were really happy for me that I didn't screw up today. You could tell that everyone was smiling at me, giving me thumbs up. To say I feel emotional, probably over a statement, but yeah, I feel mixed emotions, really. I feel relieved that I got through it, but also sad that I'll never ever do it again in my life. And also kind of very sad for Jarno. And obviously, you know, I wish, you know, Heinz could have got a better position as well. So, you know, I just think, personally for Jordan, I just wish we'd done a bit better today.
Tell us about that stop. How did the ticker stand up to it?
The ticket was going. I think it was just something short of 100. So basically, I was running a marathon, even though I was standing still. I think I was in the last 10 miles of a marathon. It happens so quickly as well. I mean, obviously that's the idea, that it happens quickly. But when you're there, I mean, you see the car approaching the pit lane, it comes in at a distance, and before you know it, it's next to you. And obviously, because you practice and practice and practice, you kind of like disengage your brain and do what you've been told to do. And it happens so quickly that by the time you've thought about it, it's gone.
Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed your time with the team. Don't stay away too long, will you?
Well, I'll try not to. If they invite me back, I'll be here tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen, but I've had a wonderful time. I mean, the whole crew, from Eddie downwards, been absolutely superb to me, and so's everybody at ITV.
Good commercial. See the full-length feature in a couple of weeks' time at Hockenheim. Tony, you worked in those pit crews, and a bit of admiration there for the boy, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are no greater highs or lows, I think, in motor racing. In a sport, you can be up 1 minute and down the next. Thing is, we'd be working all-nighters, maybe repairing crashed cars and things, and Murray would come round in the morning and say, chirpily, well, everything all right with the cars, lads? And we're all sort of eyes down. But then you've got to prepare for pit stops. Then the car goes out early. Then you've got to start packing it all up. And you've got to keep the boys' morale as high as you can, because you know you've got to work tomorrow and prepare the cars, you know, for Hockenheim in 2 weeks' time. So it's tough. Big troughs and big highs. Was that a tear then, Murray?
Now, Murray, you're going to see a few banners of yours in a couple of minutes' time. The banners have been going up around Silverstone. I feel sure you would want to say something to the people here who've wanted to say something to you, and you can't get round them all. Go on, string a few words together for us, could you?
I wasn't expecting this, but yes, I would like to. You can only do what you do in this life if you've got support from people. I've been at the sharp end of Formula One for 52 years now, commentating. But I've only been able to commentate it because I've had, if I may use a rather emotional word, the love and respect of the British public. I have revelled in every second of it. I'm not stopping because I want to, I'm stopping because I think the time has come for me to do so. And I will hand the baton on with some enthusiasm, but you haven't quite seen the last of me yet.
I know you haven't. You've got a few more races to go for us as well. And here we go. The banners. Commentating is one thing, retiring is another. Goodbye, Murray. Sorry to see you go, go, go. As we all are, Murray. Now, Murray's minted. Best wishes. Commentating one thing, retiring is another one. A little familiar theme. Go, go, go. They've gone some work in these, haven't they? And this is the winner. Formula One needs you, Murray. Okay, that's our winner today. Well done on that. Right then, now your chance to win the latest British sports car. If you've been paying attention over the last 3 hours, 20 minutes, you'll have no problem with this question. Who won last year's British Grand Prix? A. Michael Schumacher. B. Mika Häkkinen, or C. David Coulthard. A. Michael Schumacher. B. Mika Häkkinen, or C. David Coulthard. The winner of last year's British Grand Prix. First prize, a new MG ZR car. Day for two at Thruxton to drive new MG saloons. 10 runners-up, a day for two at Thruxton to drive the new MG saloon. And there it is, the new MG ZR. 09069 51 50 50, 09069 51 50 50. Lines closed midnight, July the 24th. More details on our website. It's coming pretty soon, you know. The new ITV Sports channel is right around the corner. For the highlights at 11:15 here on ITV tonight, repeated ITV2 tomorrow at 7. As we've been saying, next port of call, German Grand Prix, couple of weeks' time, qualifying from 11:30 on the Saturday, the race live, pre-race show from 12:05, highlights at 11:50, repeated ITV2 on the Monday at 7. There we are. Tony, thank you very much indeed. Murray from Silverstone, thanks a lot. You've got a few more to go though, haven't you? Okay. Got to be the end of David Coulthard's World Championship dream. Mika Hakkinen is best of British for the very first time. Bye-bye to you all.